There you go.
Okay, there we go.
There you are.
All right, great. All right, so I'm ready to share with you guys. So I'm really a stickler about, it's been such an honor to be able to have this be my life for well over 40 years and to be able to teach people on such an intimate level, because my experience was extremely, and you guys all know it if you read the book and you've heard me on the calls, but it was profound in my life. When I went to Hippocrates in 1980, because it changed my life on every level. And I was fortunate enough and blessed enough in the mid 80s to be the director of Hippocrates Health Institute in Coldwater. It used to be called Hippocrates Midwest, and then it had to be changed to Creative Health Institute, which all of us it's very dear to so many of us. But it's a transformational journey, folks, and you know that, and you couldn't be in a better place. So I'm going to have to do this by hand here. Wellness is a conscious choice to continually improve our overall quality of health. So it's a choice that we have made, and we all have different reasons for making that choice. Mine was, it was extremely profound. I had already become a vegetarian when I was faced with my health challenges and directed to read Dr. Ann's book and Viktor Klavinskis's book. And there's just so many reasons. It's powerful, and watching our loved ones live a healthy lifestyle and being an example has been one of our loved ones, my family, my children, my grandchildren, all of them live a healthy lifestyle. None of them smoke, none of them do drugs. They don't drink. It's just been amazing. I have 7 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren now. So it's been great to be able to be an example. So let's talk about a lot of the reasons for dis-ease, although I know for some of you, a lot of this may be redundant, but we're going to move through it. And hopefully, if you have any questions at the end, we can do that too. Of course, when I go into stress, that's another whole class. But stress is definitely a reason for dis-ease in the body. Lack of the proper nutrition, toxicity, a toxic body, and lack of digestive enzymes, because as we get older, and I'm going to be covering that. So a lot of people have a fear of disease, but each and every one of us are working towards, we're either moving towards degeneration and dis-ease, or we're moving towards regeneration and rejuvenation. And on this call, everybody on this call is moving towards regeneration and rejuvenation. And rejuvenation is definitely, absolutely, things have changed, and we know how the body works. And we know if the proper conditions are present, that the body can heal itself. So let's go over some of these things you may well know, but this is going to be a stepping stone for the rest of the things I'm going to be teaching you on this PowerPoint this evening. All right, so malnourished cells must be replaced by healthy cells over time. Okay, so this is apoptosis. It takes 120 to 150 days for all the cells in our entire bloodstream to be replaced. That's pretty exciting. The body can heal itself because we have the ability to create healthy cells. And so when you understand all the cells in our bloodstream have changed between 120 and 150 days, that's pretty exciting. And you have the ability to create healthy cells. My daughter does live blood cell analysis, so she sees those changes. And then 3-4 months later, people come back and she'll see the changes in the blood. And it takes up to 12 months for all the blood cells in our body to be replaced. All right. So the femur bone and the larger bones in the body, yes, take years. But as you go through this, what's important to understand is our cells regenerate 200 million a minute, 3 billion a day. And again, our red blood cells within 120 days. So we're able to create all new tissue in our body as this goes on. We're able to create healthy cells, which creates healthy tissues, which creates healthy organs, which creates healthy systems, which equals to a healthy body and hopefully a healthy family for those that are around us and watch us. All right, so we know that our food is lacking in proper nutrients. We know that when the Industrial Revolution happened back in the 40s, I believe it was, that our soil became much more depleted in essential nutrients. And so the nutrient begins to decline further. I want you to think about this. When a food is harvested, whatever food it is, when it's harvested, whether it's ripe or not, the nutrient value in it begins to decline because it's feeding off of the nutrient coming up through the root or through the tree or through the stem. All right. And so once a fruit, nut, or vegetable, a fruit or vegetable is harvested, what happens is it begins to lose its source of food. So what happens, the major enzyme in the food becomes activated because it's lost its source of nutrition from the soil, and it begins to feed off of the plant molecules. So that becomes less nutrition because it's feeding off of itself. So you think about this, whether it's organic or non, and definitely organic is the way to go. It's not that much more than regular food anymore. So once that happens, your food is then shipped, it's stored. You go home, you store it in your refrigerator, and then it's not eaten until you use it. So that's more depletion. And so when and I'm not saying, I think it's important, what I love to teach people is, and I'm going to be doing a free class on indoor gardening. I've just got to give myself a little break to get ready for it. I've got too many things on my plate for the next month or so. But when you grow your own seed sprouts, or you're doing living foods, or just say you're sprouting lentils, this is a great one. Sprout your lentils, soak them in water for 6 to 8 hours, let them sprout for a day and a half, put them in a bowl and chop up all kinds of vegetables and put some lemon juice and olive oil on it and a little bit of Himalayan sea salt. That is amazing. That is a raw and living food dish. Okay. That's a great one to have in the refrigerator because it'll stay in your refrigerator about a week and it'll be well, and the sprouts are still growing. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about the fact that I know we're not going to all grow all of our own food, but I want to show you guys that it's much easier than you think as time goes by, because that's my passion. So once we cook food, then 70% of the vitamins and minerals are destroyed. And at 118, all the enzymes are destroyed. And every food has its own enzyme within it. And God made it that way to digest it until it's cooked. We must have a strong immune system, especially with what's going on in what today's world is like. We must have. Our food has less nutrition. Most fruits and vegetables have 400 times less nutrients than they did 50 years ago. So think about that. So let's talk a little bit about toxicity, degeneration, dis-ease. And we're going to get into, first after this, we'll go into enzymes, then we'll be going into detoxification, then we're going to go into the colon and colon health, and of course the microbiome. So toxic waste is produced during the normal process of digestion and cellular respiration. This is called apoptosis. As our cells multiply and divide, there is a waste. Accumulated chemicals, pollutants, toxins must slowly be removed from the body. You don't have to do in-depth. It's good every 3 months to do about a 3-day fast. And if you can, every month, it's on juice. It's great. But having the right nutrients and the right digestion and eating the type of food that causes enzyme that's easy to digest will help the body to continually remove poisons and toxins. So a plant-based, mainly raw food diet is almost a constant cleanse, but we do need to detox. So the more toxic we are, aging is accelerated. We know our body again has the ability to heal itself if the proper conditions are present. So enzymes are necessary throughout the human body to break down toxins, to build protein into muscle, to eliminate carbon dioxide from our lungs, to provide immune support activity, to ward off attacks from invading organisms. And we're going to go into this deeper and deeper, step at a time. Again, Cooking destroys many nutrients. Enzymes begin to die between 110 and 118 degrees. Up to 70 to 80% of vitamins, amino acids, and antioxidants are destroyed in the cooking process. I want to encourage you to try to stay 70% raw. I know it's more difficult in the winter, but it's easy when you learn how delicious the foods are and your body begins to make its changes and your cells begin to change because your body wants to crave that kind of food. So again, let's talk about, I don't know if you get the opportunity, I spoke about it before, Dr. Edward Howell's book on enzymes is probably the best book that's ever been written on enzymes ever. So again, I'm going to change this a little bit. Enzymes begin to die between 110 and 118 degrees. As the heat rises and more enzymes die by, that 188 is wrong. That's a mistake. I meant to change it. I apologize. By 140, at least all of your enzymes are destroyed, or even 130, okay? There's a couple of different theories on that. So environmental factors, pesticides, herbicides, radiation, fluoridation, all these things destroy enzymes. Today's food techniques, cooking, microwaving, it destroys the enzymes in our food. So the majority of people are enzyme deficient. And I'm going to talk about this study a little bit. This study was done in many, many years ago, and Dr. Edward Howell brought it to the attention when he wrote his book. And it's a great book because you keep referring back to it. I've never seen anything like it. The majority of people are enzyme deficient, but studies have shown that a young man in his 20s, in his saliva, has much less, more enzyme activity than a person that's in their 60s. But this does not have to be, okay? Doesn't have to be. And the reason it doesn't have to be is people that have less enzyme activity are people that eat almost all cooked foods their whole life. And their body has to, it depletes the enzyme bank in your body, okay? And so when we die, we have no more enzymes in our body. So there's a direct correlation between aging and enzyme activity in our body. This 65-year-old does not have to have a lack of digestive enzymes and the ability for our organs that supply our digestive enzymes does not have to be. If you take digestive enzymes and you eat cooked food, and you eat whenever you eat any cooked foods, and you take raw foods, your body will still have the ability to produce the digestive enzymes necessary, no matter how old you are. So this is really exciting. The significant number of studies have shown that the human pancreas, in relationship to body size and weight, is extremely large when compared to animals. So let's talk about this a minute. What basically the pancreas in the human body has enlarged over the last 20 years. Okay, and because the pancreas is your major organ for producing digestive enzymes, that it's overworking, and it's become larger. Animals in the wild eat raw food. Their pancreas is still the same size in relationship to their body. And I remember many, many years ago, when I first started my practice in 1940, my gosh, 40 years ago, I had no clients with cancer. And then about 30, maybe 25 years ago, I had no clients with pancreatic cancer. And everything just, as things evolved and there became more toxicity and more chemicals in the air and everything in our clothing and all over the place, more dis-ease in the body surfaced. So when I can go all the way back and think that when I started my practice, people didn't come to me with cancer, that's kind of crazy. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about categories of enzymes, okay? So I want to talk about the metabolic enzymes because I'm going to be bringing that up again in a minute. This is where it's a light bulb's really going to go off. Metabolic enzymes are found, and they should be found in every organ, tissue, and in the fluid in our bodies, okay? And metabolic enzymes, this is key, regulate every biochemical action and reaction that is required to sustain life. All right, that's the metabolic enzymes. Digestive enzymes are secreted by the pancreas and other digestive organs when food is introduced into the body. Food enzymes are found in all uncooked foods. All right, no matter what they are, God has made them. Even raw beef has food enzyme protease in it till it's cooked. All right, I'm not saying to eat raw beef. I'm not saying to eat beef. I'm saying make your choices and make healthy choices. But the easier to digest the food you put into your body, the less strain it is on your immune system and your body's ability to produce digestive enzymes. Stay with me on this. There are four major categories of enzymes. Protease, which helps digest the protein. Amylase, of course, starch and carbohydrate enzyme, digest starch and carbohydrate. Lipase for digesting fats, and cellulase for digesting cellulose. But all foods, when raw, have the needed enzymes associated with them. And each category of food has its own enzymes present in the correct proportion to digest it. Keep this all in mind, because here we're going to bring this up. When you take protease, it helps break down the long chain protein chain peptides into smaller amino acid chains. Thus, it makes digestion easier. It enables protein to digest further up the digestive tract to increase the digestive activity in the small intestine. We're going to go a little deeper every time. The same thing happens with lipase. It digests fat and triglyceride. I've been talking all day. Triglycerides into fatty acids, which allows for easier absorption of fat and insoluble nutrients. All right, so let's scroll down to an enzyme. Is also like to me, it's life force, and it manifests through certain protein molecule forms. And if you think of it as a light bulb, as a protein molecule, it is inactive until an electrical current is passed through it. So this is the same kind of activity within an enzyme. So, for instance, if you're getting ready to soak a bunch of lentils or berries, wheat berries or rye berries, or anything you're getting ready to soak, broccoli sprouts, whatever, the enzymes within the seed are inactive until they're soaked and activated. So now they're an active enzyme and it's becoming alive in raw food. There was a ship that sunk at the bottom of right down below Florida, I think it was the Etosha. And when they rose the ship 300 years later, they found a jar of seeds. And those seeds sprouted. This is life. I mean, this is what you want to always have on hand is seeds. I mean, I have a special refrigerator for all my seeds, nuts, grains, and it's everything's organized, and it's easy to do that. And if you read through the book, it'll tell you how to set up your kitchen. So enzyme deficient foods, this is the part that I want you to think about, cause overstraining of the digestive organs, here it is, to replace missing digestive enzymes. This in turn causes the immune system to mobilize enzyme activity simply to digest food. So let me explain that to you a different way. The body has the ability to borrow enzymes from your metabolic food bank, which is your immune system, and it works on every part of your body, and turn them into digestive enzymes. And the last thing you want to do is to corrupt your metabolic enzyme bank or borrow from it. We need to keep it the way it is. And years ago, they didn't know that the body could borrow digest enzymes from your metabolic bank and turn them into digestive enzymes. That doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be. It definitely will mobilize your cause havoc with your immune system. So always take digestive enzymes. I even take digestive enzymes when I eat raw foods. They're incredible. And this also is a relationship to working with the microbiome, which we'll talk about. So white blood cells should be enzyme rich, and their job is primarily to digest foreign bodies in the blood. Okay. A deficiency of enzymes, this is what I said, I'm just saying it a different way, can lead to eventual hypertrophy of the pancreas, which means it breaks down the organs responsible for the production of enzymes. So general weakening of the immune system leads to degenerative disease and rapid aging. This here, studies have shown, these parts are off from Dr. Edwards Howell's books, that all disease can be traced to missing or faulty enzymes, all disease, and that the length and quality of life is directly proportional to the level of enzyme activity in our body. So enzyme levels in our body decrease as we age, but they don't have to. At the same time, there's an increasing tendency towards degenerative disease, tissue breakdown, and chronic conditions. So there's a direct connection between the strength of the immune system and enzyme levels in our body. The more enzyme reserve we have, the stronger our immune system will be, and the stronger and healthier we will be. Talk a little bit about detoxification. Again, a toxic body is a major problem. So physical toxicity is one of the major reasons for disease and speeding up the aging process. It affects cellular function. It affects toxicity reduces your plays havoc with your nutritional needs. Toxicity, the more toxic your body, the easier it is to feel stress, and they all lead to a weak immune system. So, we know that, if you fly across, I'm not saying not to fly, but if you fly across the country in a plane, it's like having 300 chest x-rays. So you need to take whatever supplements you're taking, you need to take a lot extra when you get on the plane. Okay. So we have, we're all affected by electromagnetic fields, flavor enhancers, preservatives, colorants. Read your labels. Read your labels. I wouldn't put any chemicals in my body, none. Chemicals, fertilizers, pesticide, pollutant, acid rain, but you can control what you can control. The water you drink, what you put into your body. A lot of people, when I work with parents and I teach them, our children have much smaller organs than we do, and they are more affected because their organs get just as toxic, but they're smaller. So there's a lot of, childhood disease nowadays too. So again, a few things that we are exposed to, and you can control most of these, but having a healthy immune system, eating properly, drinking the water that's necessary, reading labels, eating pure foods, because they all accumulate in the body, and it's so amazing to walk around with a pure body. The more pure your body is, I might have brought this up before, but I got to tell you, I'm not saying not to do it, but you don't need deodorant when your body's clean. You wake up in the morning, your mouth tastes sweet. There's no body odors. It's any part of your body, because you don't have the putrefactive matter in your body, in the colon, and you're not eating food with chemicals. For instance, if you were to eat, let's just say you're going to eat some quinoa chips. You want to have a treat. And there's a bag of quinoa chips that has Himalayan sea salt on it. And then there's a bag that says barbecue flavor. Well, the barbecue flavor is going to be all chemicals. All right. I remember years ago when I stopped going to salad bars, because if ever I went to a salad bar, my mouth would taste funny because of all the whatever they're using in the dressings. Because when your body's pure and you wake, your mouth shouldn't taste bad, unless when you get to the point that you're pure enough that your mouth tastes sweet all the time. When you eat something that has chemicals, you will have a bad flavor in your mouth, and you will have bad breath. So, and I think a lot of us know a lot of the chemicals that are in this is old, real old, it's old stuff, but it may not be for all of you. But a lot of the chemicals that are in antifreeze are in the products that you see on your left. So reading labels are important, and there's a lot of pure products out there without chemicals in them. So when we start to detoxify, I think it's important for, if you're going to start, like maybe you want to do a 3-day fast or something, or a 24-hour fast, or it all depends on how toxic you are. But when you start to detoxify, our cells hold memories. So old memories will come up, but you'll start to think of them in a different way. And a lot of you may be past this point. I don't know. You will taste and or smell whatever was toxic in your body before as it leaves your skin and as it leaves the body. So you start to actually think clear and look at your life in the past a little differently. We now know that we have the ability to take care of the needs of the entire cell, the telomeres. We can shorten telomeres. I mean, we can lengthen telomeres the more we work with rejuvenation. They don't have to keep shortening like we used to think, and that's the aging process. We can lengthen them now. So anti-aging, rejuvenation, they all play a significant role, and we can touch every part of that. This is one of the most important things when you hear about a healing crisis or a cleansing crisis or supporting the channels of elimination and the filtering systems are very important to enhance detoxification. So cleansing, for instance, your cleansing organs are your skin, your lungs, your kidney, and your colon. These are, your skin breathes, your lungs breathe in and out poisons and toxins. I'll be covering each of these individually. Your kidneys, your colon. Your filtering system is your liver and your lymphatic system. So a dry skin brushing is so important. Liver is like, if you were to have say a bucket of oil and you put a sponge in it, the sponge wouldn't filter anymore. It wouldn't be any good for cleaning. So your liver is one of your major organs that's a filtering system, and it deactivates toxins. It actually helps to transfer nutrients from the bloodstream, from the colon into the bloodstream. And during that process, it filters out the poisons and toxins from the blood, and it deactivates the toxins. I mean, it deactivates the poisons as well. So working with the liver is extremely important. So let's think about this. Our body stores toxins. What the body does is it wraps fat molecules around toxins to protect the body from them. All right. So as you detoxify, the fat molecules begin to open up and the poisons and toxins come out. The body then breaks down the fat and releases the toxins. And also the body stores and holds on to more mucus the more toxic you are, because it also wraps mucus around poisons and toxins to protect the body from it. So when people go into, just say, some of you might be early on your journey here, or you might recall back when you started your journey, and every time you started to change your diet and it became more pure, especially in the beginning time, you thought you were sick and you got a cold. Well, your body's getting rid of the mucus as fast as it can. And that's why you feel worse. And if you support the filtering and cleansing systems of the body, then you're not going to go into having rashes or boils, or the poisons and toxins are try to come out everywhere they can. You need to support that. Okay. So with proper detoxification, our body will not effectively remove toxins. So let's talk a little bit about water. Okay. So we're going to talk on each one of these shortly. Our lungs, you breathe in air, you breathe air out, but our lungs also breathe in moisture and breathe out moisture. So breathing is important. I know whenever we do an all-day detox cleanse, we have a class on breathing. It's very important. A lot of us don't pay attention to our breath. So breathe, if you think about this, and I know that this has been addressed in this workshop in these weeks, because I've been on and off these calls, but breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, and give yourself some time. It's so important to take care of ourselves and give ourselves the time we need, especially as we get older. So you have to stop and think about breathing, because most people don't. And actually, when they're stressed, you hold your breath. If something's happening, you hold your breath. You need to get in a habit of taking 10 or 20 breaths, conscious, in through your nose and out through your mouth, conscious breaths 2 or 3 times a day. And you will maybe think about it. You will think about it more often and take some breaths. The kidney is very important to get your water in, so it can filter out keep the kidney clean, and there's not concentrated uric acid in the kidneys. Water helps to keep the colon wall moist. We need moisture. We need the water. And then also our skin. If you can get in a habit of dry skin brushing, it only takes 3 minutes a day. Look it up. It's not hard. It's easy. And if you want, Moselle, I could probably get something to you from one of my booklets that is in a PDF, and Katrina might be able to help me on skin brushing. Okay. And so
yes.
let's talk a little bit about what's going on. And when I'm going to put my glasses on for this one, you guys. It might be glare a little bit. No, I guess I don't need them. Okay. So when we have an ability to change everything that's happening in our body. We have impaired digestion, which leads to intestinal toxemia. And we're talking about the microbiome as we go on in here. And that, in many cases, leads to candida and parasite infestation, because the more toxic the bowel, the more parasites can incubate. It causes intestinal imbalance of the gut flora, which really messes up the microbiome, which then can cause leaky gut, which allows food particles, microscopic perforations in the large intestine, which allows food particles to go into the blood, which causes pain and inflammation, which then can move to chronic disease. So if we enhance digestion, it helps eliminate toxins. It helps eliminate candida and parasites. And there's many ways to do this. It helps to mobilize gut flora, reduce inflammation, and repair the intestinal mucosa, which is the microbiome. And back in the day, it was just called the intestinal mucosa. So colon health, gut microbiome affects everything, as you just heard. It affects the communication in the intestinal tract, metabolism, immune system, some pathogenic infections, gut flora, leaky gut, and many more. So when you put food into your mouth, the very first step of digestion starts in the saliva in your mouth. If you see something, your mouth waters, that's your brain telling your body you're going to need some digestive enzymes, and that's in the saliva. So what happens is you're large from the back of your throat, where you're where actually the entire alimentary tract, where your esophagus begins at the back of your throat, is 50 to 60 feet long. And the small intestine is 20 to 30 feet long, and the large intestine is, I have so much I want to teach you, but I'm going to have to, I want to get through the slideshow. And the large intestine is 5 to 6 feet long. I've worked with people that have longer intestines too. Some people are like that. People that are short-waisted have there's a little bit less room in there. A lot of them have troubles with constipation. So chew your food very, very well, so it goes through the alimentary tract. And digestive enzymes are in your stomach, so food can move through the small intestine and the large intestine. Because if they can't, then everything's going to back up. And when it backs up, food won't move through the esophagus like it should, which causes acid reflux. So we can reverse all of this. here's a little cutaway of the small intestine and the large intestine, and you can see the pyloric valve right up in here. And so everything goes through this intestinal wall, and it goes through. We want the microbiome and the intestinal wall to be clean, so we're not bringing as clean as we can, so we don't have impactation, which causes microscopic perforations, which causes leaky gut. So we need to have a nice, good digestion and keep things moving smoothly, easy to digest food. If you were to put a steak on the counter and it was 98 degrees outside, or even 90, and you went back to it the next morning, it's going to be pretty rotten. Okay. And so the matter that sticks to the colon wall are foods that take so long to move through. So you have to take digestive enzymes and chew your food into a liquid. All right. And don't drink water with meals because it dilutes the digestive juices. So what happens, the duodenum, and right here, the sphincter muscle, if you look at the bottom of the stomach there, that closes up when there's food in the stomach, and it allows digestive enzymes and the enzymes that go into the stomach from the pancreas to start to digest the food. So that closes. But when you drink pure water, that stays open, so the water can go ahead and keep moisturizing. All right. So the sphincter muscle closes. And to keep, well, food's digestion opens when you drink pure water. So you take a look at a colon that does not have, it's not moist. These are pockets that can cause many problems down the road. It can cause, leaky gut and pockets of debris when we're eating foods that are, for instance, if you decide, the worst thing you can do when you eat is combine starches and proteins at the same time, like bread, potatoes, and meat. I mean, that's a bad combination. It's harder to digest. So try to, if you're going to eat potatoes, try to stay with the sweet potatoes. If you're going to have cooked foods like that, all the vegetables are just great. Mushrooms can really mimic meat. I'm not sure where you're all at, but as you drink water and it goes through, it can keep everything moist, and we need to do that. We need to keep it moist. So I just want to talk a little bit more about, I've been a colon therapist as well as a nutritionist and a naturopath for well over 40 years, for 42 years now. And I developed a new product called EEZ, and it's a gentle colon support. I've got two new products that I've been working on for a year that are, Victorious actually helped me develop the digest product, and I developed the detox product. They're going to be available in a week or two. And so I just want to let you know, I know a lot of you folks have tried my Ease product. And Katrina, actually, we just lowered the price. I knew you were going to order some. We just lowered the price because I had a little bit more made, so cut the price down a little, which I always try to do. So if you want to go to agelessenergy.com, I have a new website that's should be finished in a couple of days. The digestive product and the detox product won't be online for another couple of days, but the Ease Gentle Colon Support is on my website, and it's also on Amazon. So if you have any questions, I'd like to take them. We all have choices. So you have an opportunity here with all the education and support that you're getting with this incredible program that Moselle has put together with the help of everybody. Anybody want to ask a question? I know I said a lot. You may not have questions yet.
Dr. Gina, do probiotics help?
Absolutely. All right, let me go into I could back up to that slide, but probiotics do more than help. So what happens is, as food moves through, what happens is there's layers of debris on the colon wall, okay? So over the years, I know when I was a child, we made paste with white flour. And I do want to tell you that Carpenter's glue is made out of casein from cow's milk. So when you eat things like that and you eat meat and breads and white flours and stuff, they tend to layer on the colon wall, which when that happens, the environment changes, the microbiome changes, and there's no room for the good bacteria to grow. There's no place for them to put themselves at all. So as we begin to eat better and incorporate and clean the colon and do digestive enzymes and chew our food better, and work with the colon, there's spaces that open up, all right, for the good bacteria to implement. And yes, it helps. So I would always take probiotics. They're very, very important. And Dr. Ann used to have these little cartoons, and all these neighbors, these little probiotics, these neighbors would move in and they would make friends with the bad bacteria, because we have to have both. So you have to do it, but some people just don't, most people don't have enough because of the environment and the microbiome.
Excellent. Joyce, what is the name of the author of the book? You said one of the best books you've read on enzymes.
Dr. Edward Howell. It's years old and there's never been another book that's good yet.
Now your PowerPoint will be on our YouTube channel, correct?
You asking permission?
Well, yes.
Of course, absolutely.
Yes, okay, great.
I'll probably enhance the last slide for you as my website's complete. Is that okay?
Sure.
And this is what I'm going to be doing for Thursday. Is that all right with you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I know we have, oh my goodness, you've just given a whole semester course, Joyce.
I don't know how to shorten it. I just don't. There's so much I want to teach, because once it's incorporated, I don't know how to put it. It's when we make these kinds of changes, and what you're doing, Moselle, to teach everybody and support everybody, this isn't great, because once you get on the other side, all you're going to want to do is share it with more people. And that's what we have to do to change the world too.
Absolutely. And I know that we have and we're just about out of time, and but it's okay, because this has been a lot of information and a lot of great information. And for those of you, you can catch it on YouTube. You'll be able to get the PowerPoint on YouTube, and then there's so much information here that it really is a semester course, what Joyce has covered. And and this has been absolutely excellent. So I know we didn't get all of our questions answered, and we didn't get all of our